Hey everyone, welcome back to the North American Challenger Series Spring Finals in Game 4 between TDK and Enemy Esports. Enemy leads 2-1 right now and will join the North American LCS with one more victory. Now that last game was built on the back of some very good play, mostly by the solo laners. We'll talk about FLICKR. He was up 20 minions at 10 minutes. He was up 53 minions at 20 minutes. His opponent counterpicked himself in the matchup. The Aurelia from FLICKR was absolutely devastating. He crushed people. On the other side, for TDK, Louis GG, he was given a free farm lane, so he got pretty big on Corki, but unfortunately didn't get to do much with it.
Yeah, they didn't play off of his power spike, and that's the thing, is the Aurelia was able to just dive the Corki when they got to those team fights. And you could hear it there in their team comms. They were like, get Corki, he's the Fed member. Even though they're just piling and rampaging through the front line, they're just like, get the Corki, get Louis, shut him down.
Yeah, and they shut him down pretty hard. And one of the players who also helped shut that player down was Inox, the mid laner for Enemy Esports. His Kassadin continued to impress. 12 KDA is actually the lowest KDA game he's had yet on Kassadin. It is objectively his worst Kassadin game in the Challenger Series.
Actually divided by 0 there. So.
Yeah, except that we divide by 1 for KDAs, so I'm not wrong.
That Kassadin is still waiting to die.
He's still doing pretty well on it, though. Overall, actually, you know, when you get off the rift at the very end, you die. If you haven't died yet. Yeah, that's how it works, actually, in Summoner's Rift here in League of Legends. Either way, guys, Game 4. Tournament life on the line here for TDK. The pressure is mounting. This is the do-or-die game for these guys. Enemy Esports, they know they are one victory away from that trip into the North American LCS Summer Split. And we managed to choose blind pick there, so the insta-lock Fiora, not exactly a part of the comp.
There were no bans that game. It's everyone's surprise.
Quick homage to the European LCS with the victorious Fiora games, or European Challenger Series, I should say. It was victorious. Yeah, Morsi was pretty good on that one. Hopefully we'll see more Fiora as well. Ah, I'm hilarious. No, but seriously, it's going to be a very, very fun Game 4 here. As the analyst has talked about, they said, you know, picks and bans starting to be less and less of an issue in terms of like, oh, this comp's just better. Okay, it's free because they're team fighting all the time. We're seeing the power of the last pick red side that, again, TDK seemed to want and Enemy Esports seemed to want. And we're seeing every single time Inox gets to counterpick mid lane, he wins it. Yep. The Katarina for the team fight, the Kassadin for the lane and the late game scaling. Those have worked out so far very well for the team. You got to question what TDK first picks. Is it going to be worth it?
That's the thing, is the Zac was not worth it last game. It was definitely not worth it. They weren't able to apply the pressure or even use the Zac effectively. And that's the thing, too, is it's not all about champion select right now. You said they kind of have their picks and bans down. The thing is do you play on power spike? Do you play when your champions are spiked? Do you play when your composition is stronger than theirs? When are you able to push that? And when do you have those windows of opportunity? That's what this is all about. And Enemy, we heard Trashy say himself that he thinks that their team's a little bit better at doing that.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, because TDK, they impressed me Game 2.
They did impress really heavily in Game 2. We'll see if that same TDK shows up in Game 4. Maybe even numbers is their thing. The Gragas ban, at this point, I'd give it away, honestly. Like, I know Trashy's good on Gragas, but that Kassadin wrecked you guys. So they're already banning away Inox's Kog'Maw. They keep the Hecarim ban. Those stay the same. Here's the Sejuani ban. Yep. So same bans as Game 3. TDK say, you know, Annie's the champion who matters more. We'll leave Sivir up for you guys.
I love watching the expression on, that's actually Enemy's coach, Brad, or Lazy is his screen name. When that first pick comes out, he always seems a little bit surprised by that first pick.
I don't think anyone's surprised to see these 3 champions first.
Because you also have to pivot off of the first pick, though. Sure. Because if they take something that's contested, you're just like, oh, okay, well, we have to kind of change our strategy. Hold on a second. Yeah. And you can see in that game previously where they picked the Zac first, I believe. Right. They were like, everybody got really slow with what they were picking. They're like, okay, wait a second. And he looked surprised there, not because they took something away, because he was like, whoa, they took the Zac. What do we want? Well,
that's the thing, is like these 3 champions, those are the 3 contested picks in this series. And when one of them's not picked, you're like, okay, now which 2 of the 3 do we want? Because they don't get the choice. You're like, okay, we'll just grab the Aurelia Sivir, no big deal. Like, that's a very easy champ to go through for Enemy Esports. TDK, of those 3 champions, they wanted the Annie. Now, I can't imagine they picked Gnar again for Seraph. That was miserable last time. They still want to get the Zac. That's fine. And it seems also TDK, I expect it to be mid lane Ezreal, by the way, here for Kyle. He's been good with it before, and it seems like they're hopping off the Lysandra chain.
It would appear so, but
There's always a chance it pivots.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what they end up doing with it, but they'll have to show what it is before Inox locks his mid laner in.
Yep.
I do like the Annie first pick for TDK. It's that engage that they need. It also tests, does body drop play something that's good against it? He might go back to the Morgana here, but can he go on something else? Is it going to be the Alistar? Is he able to have a counter to it? Because Smoothie was forced to counter it previously with the Alistar. Now he's testing body drop. Also, Smoothie has been on point. This whole set. His engages have been really good, and that is a support Nautilus for body drop.
Okay, so his, I believe, 4th champion played now in the Challenger Series is going to be a Nautilus now here. Annie, Nami, Janna, Thresh, now his 5th.
But still, that gives him, like, he was a big Thresh player. I talked to him before, and I've seen him. He was on Infinite Odds, where he was close to the LCS with Otter, and he thought he should have made it then. And he was always a really big Thresh player. It was kind of like kind of a diamond in the rough lost when Bunny Fufu was in Challenger, Sheep was in Challenger, and all these people just started coming up as Thresh mains. So he was really good at hooking people, and now he's got that Nautilus, very meta champion, lots of lockdown. So they're going to have to draft a relatively high damage mid laner here for Inox. The Nidalee definitely shouldn't be something he's looking to go back to this game, but they're going to need something high damage. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Kassadin again.
Yeah, Kassadin maybe. It's going to be the exact same matchup. Kyle does go back to Lissandra 4 games in a row, but Kassadin on the table. You ask, is this what Enemy Esports want to play with? This will be almost the exact same comp if they do. Just sub out Annie for Nautilus. Otherwise, TDK, they pick a better top lane matchup in the Shyvana versus Aurelia. Much, much better choice here in my opinion. Otherwise, a different AD carry in Luigi G playing Ezreal now. Still an engaging support here with Annie for Smoothie. Enemy Esports, here's the game where if you win, you're in. Inox, what are you going to play against this Lissandra?
Well, he played Kassadin last time, and he had a Rek'Sai at his side with Trashy last time too. So I would not be surprised if it's just more of the same for him, because he can also catch the Ezreal and chase him down. I think it's a great pick here in this comp. He's going to go for it.
Well, it's what Crumb said at the very start in the best of 5. If it wins, keep the comp. Play the same stuff. Make sure they can react to you. TDK have yet to show that they can win when Inox gets to counterpick mid lane and be a high-impact team-fighting mage. Inox on his 4th Kassadin game of the spring split. And this is the comp that Enemy Esports think will bring themselves into the North American League of Legends Championship Series. TDK got to adapt over and over and over again. Here's their 4th rendition. They've still got a teamfight comp. They've still got a lot of upfront damage. And a much better matchup for their typical carry in Seraph. This is going to be TP Smite Shyvana. Will not get pushed out of lane nearly as hard. Should have a much better matchup up against Flares. I think that is something that TDK very much needs in order to win this game. As Champ Select ends, the coaches give final parting remarks to their teams. They meet for the handshake. And this game could be history in the making as the camera blurs out and goes to our faces. In a world where one team makes it into the LCS, the teams are loading onto the Rift, so start updating your votes by sending either hashtag TDK win or hashtag NME win to @LOL Esports. In a world where we will read them out loud to you guys, or at least show the vote on the screen. That's this world very much. Here we go, guys. This is the make or break game. Is Enemy Esports going to be joining the LCS or not? Here's game 4.
Of course, if TDK do go down here, they get to play in the promotion tournament against Winter Fox or Dignitas. So they still have a chance to get into the LCS. But you're looking at one of these 2 teams is going to be in the LCS at the end of today.
Will it be Enemy or Enemy's enemy?
Ha. Ha 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 ha.
What are you, Nunubot?
Ha. No, because Nunubot actually takes dancing lessons from Freak.
I see you could use some.
I could. I just do what feels less awkward than what I was doing a second ago.
I'm surprised you still talk often. Flares and Seraph in a 1v1 on the top lane. We saw this one before. This time Seraph feels a lot better.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Flares.
That's the damage check right there.
Why even turn back to auto? Seraph if you W's like... All right. I like actually that ward's really good. It's going to spot a Krug start if it happens. Now, we had seen FLICKR's last game on Aurelia manage to start Wolves and take that camp pretty safely. Seraph, of course, can easily jungle for a while on this Ruby Crystal start Shyvana. Interestingly, both top laners will scale very well as they get tankier and tankier. Just being an auto-attacking bruiser becomes very nice.
Every game, people on these two teams are just going for less information. They're just doing battle lines, and they're not going for that deep invade to see where the lane swap is.
And that ward will not see. Very smart by Otter to hug the top wall. Hangs up by the mural. I like it. Appreciates art here.
I was trying to figure out what that is, and I'm like, oh, it's just how the game goes, right? Turrets fall, then you have tier 2s, and there's the Nexus. I don't know why it's in the middle of the rift, but
it's in the top center.
Actually, I have no idea what that is.
It's okay. It's going to be Enemy Esports starting out with the double jungle here. Seraph will be taking out the Raptors, even with a smite, in case he does walk by a ward. And also because you want to smite to clear the camp, of course. Smoothie, once again, now can he steal a camp away?
Oh,
Trashy might have nightmares of this from before.
Here comes Seraph, though. Seraph is also on his way towards this.
Trashy might get stopped entirely here. Smoothie, you got to land the stun. No, just some damage with the Qs. Trashy at 200 health is in a really bad spot.
Oh,
Seraph is trying to push him around. FLICKR's going to rejoin, though. This is a very close one.
It's a smite top laner, though, and they don't have smite.
Well, both smites are down. It's just a matter of damage output. But either way, Kez is getting to jungle right now, and Enemy Esports is not.
This is what happens when you start jungling on the weak side of the map.
That's very true. And it gets punished. Well done, TDK, to collapse their team in time and punish all of this. Lane swap comes in. Enemy Esports wants the 2-on-2. They shove out the top lane, and they recall the Sivir back. FLICKR's TP's up. Top lane, by the way, is... I believe it's a freeze. It's close. But either way, both going to teleport in there. So,
oh, man.
Similar amounts gained on both sides.
Trashy's kind of getting shafted this game because now, if he goes for their blue, that's also, once again,
fairly weak.
Not a strong side of his map.
Nope.
He'd be up against the smite top lane Shyvana because they swapped the lanes back, so he doesn't even have his AD carry top lane by the enemy blue. Granted, it is Rek'Sai. He doesn't need blue on her, so that's the only kind of caveat here, is that he's not in a horrible position.
Yeah.
But he didn't get to jungle. He didn't get that level 3 very early, so his early game impact is lower. So Inox is going to have to fare for himself in this matchup.
Exactly. Trash is essentially, in overall power, down a camp. And that is, of course, pretty relevant. Slows your ganks down, slows your gold income. Good things happen for TDK here. We watch the 2-on-2 matchup. Nice Q comes in, smacks Smoothie on both sides. Trashy going to be pretty safe in this clear, though. Will hit 3 off this.
There's a lot of pressure in that bottom lane. They're punishing the Ezreal for not having a lot of wave clear, trying to keep him underneath the turret. So Louis GG doing his best to CS under the turret. He's doing a good job of it.
I like what Seraph's doing, though. He's hard shoving the wave. Might miss a minion or two, but he takes Scuttler for himself to get his own ward control. He wards Tribrush. There's actually no easy route in for Trashy. There are ways, but they're just harder.
That's one of the great things about this Smite TP top lane, is because you always get the Scuttler on cooldown. You just keep going for it. You shove the wave. Once you get Bombi Cinder,
oh, hold on.
Look at this. Oh, he got the root!
He ignites on as well. I think right at the same time as the Summoner Heal. I don't know which one got mitigated, but either way, it's going to be a rough road for Louis GG. He got snuck on by Body Drop. Yeah, this
big Nautilus just came out of nowhere.
From the brush. I'm surprised it hides him.
Got the hook. Ooh. Nope. Not quite. Both these supports have been having kind of mismatched games. Smoothie's been having a really good series, and Body Drop, he'll show up in the team fight, but look at this, Trashy. He's trying to make a team fight happen in the bottom. It's going for the gank, but Kez is here too.
Well, Smoothie would have a stun with an EW.
Oh, he knows Kez is here.
In the front of the brush. Dun-up. Dun-up. He went away.
Oh.
They don't know that.
Oh,
they didn't know how close they came to danger. Enemy's still shoving it as hard as they can.
And he's going away.
Okay, whatever.
It's a shoved up lane, and he knows that Zach was around that area. Now
they really know he's there.
Zach is going to show himself, and they saw the back from Ezreal, so they have the information that they need. He's going to go get Scuttler. But look at this. Inox, by himself, is winning this mid lane. He's 14 CS up already over Kyle, who got a blue buff early.
Oh, it's true. They gave Kyle the blue because Kez already had one. Pretty cute stuff there. Yeah, it's still miserable. They thought maybe this adaptation will work. No, it's still a really hard matchup. I understand the FLICKR ban, but the Gnar, or not the Gnar, sorry, the Gragas, I'm just not certainly sold on. This Inox Cassidy are having a very good game so far.
Yeah, they talked about not banning Trashy out, but the Gragas gives him early game pressure comparable to Rek'Sai.
True.
And then arguably better tank late game.
Yeah.
So the fact that he'll have that team fight presence, and you can see even on the Rek'Sai, he's getting those multiple man knockups. If you give him that Gragas, it's pretty much a death sentence. He gets the good early game, he gets the good team fights. It's basically a Trashy champion all around.
Yeah, it is. So they're going to keep that ban because of that fear right here. FLICKR's looking to trade in. Level 6 on both. Otter gets some free mana. Luigi do the same with his tier. Small combat lead for the Enemy Esports AD carry either way. But the lane act, despite a couple of good plays by Body Drop, honestly all I did was trade summoners.
Kez.
Not got much of a lead. Kez looking top lane. FLICKR's once again trying to trade with Seraph. But by the way, in comes Zach. In comes First Blood. That goes to Seraph.
Oh, the hook into Louis.
Yeah, level 3 right
Patchy.
there. Louis at 5 has to jump away. He's fine. He's fine. Just First Blood for TDK. Nicely done. Good job, Kez.
This was what I was expecting, too, from TDK coming into this series. Seraph is pretty much your star player, the guy who's going to carry you from the top lane. He's been trying to avoid ganks all series long because he doesn't have a flash. But the fact that he doesn't have a flash means that they will pressure him more often because there's more kill potential. So gank for his lane, counter gank for his lane, turn the fights around, or just get the flat-out gank and give him the advantage. He just finished Cinderhulk 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and you definitely got to consider that Seraph's going to feel really good about this now that he's got the early Cinderhulk, the ability to farm camps all day, all night, and keep shoving in this wave. We've got very little threat. Kyle in a bad spot. Nice flash knockup comes in. The Ignite layers. Kyle burns his ult, but who even cares? It's going to be Inox taking the kill with a Whiff Rock. And they're going to trade advantages now mid laner for top laner.
And that's what I expect from NME. Camp the mid for NME. Trashy Inox have great synergy. Get him rolling. Get that carry rolling for your team. And then I expect TDK to gank for Seraph and get his champions rolling, because that's where they need these big advantages. If FLICKR can hold up, then, well, we'll talk about that, but look at, speaking of advantages.
Big Ignite. Wow, execute on a minion actually gives a bit of health back to Otter. He survived with a summoner heal. Bodies drop helping to keep his teammate alive. Nice all in there, but overall it's a lane advantage to Enemy Esports with their CS here.
Smoothie's just having really great lane presence in this series. I'm actually very impressed by the way he's been playing, regardless of the champion that he's on.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. Smoothie's been great. FLICKR and Seraph again in the battle, but it's a battle I feel like Seraph
got the Cinderhulk. Feels
pretty good about. FLICKR's though in short engagements, right?
Yeah.
He gets like 3 Sheen procs, and there's a bit of a root on a Smoothie. Oh, he did not attack him.
Didn't get it off. It's a little hard to get sometimes.
Because he W'd and stopped his own auto.
It's got a big wind-up animation.
Yeah, it does.
W is an auto attack reset. So if you're in the middle of an auto and you hit it, but we'll talk about that in a second.
More happening again. Otter pops the spell shield and the ulti. Can they knock him down? The answer is yes. Louis GG now in a battle with Body Drop. Does not take damage from this Nautilus. Trashy's nearby but does not have flash. Chilling Spike Q comes out but still cannot reach the opponents. It's a 1 for 0.
He's just going to have to clear this wave now. And Inox looked like he was coming towards there, so Kyle immediately shoves the wave up, and Inox now has that blue buff for himself.
And overall, though, it's a very interesting game. These lanes are very mismatched. Top lane, huge for Seraph. You can see he can now proxy waves, take down Krugs, proxy a wave, take the red buff, proxy waves, take some Raptors. It's easy to be Seraph right now in this game. There's very little threat on him. Meanwhile, mid lane, great for Inox.
Proxy wave clear. And that's the thing, is Aurelia doesn't have a whole lot of wave clear.
Yep. This is what I'm expecting.
All single target damage. So this gives him free reign over this jungle.
Look at that.
This is how you should be playing Smite top laners. That's
what Seraph wanted from game 1. The FLICKR put a gigantic wrench in those plans. But now they're looking to maybe knock him down here. Dragon's Descent used. Flares is on the chase, jumps on in, but nothing else to do here. Yeah, great, you burn an ulti. Who cares?
He had to blow it there, though. And it's actually a relatively low cooldown because you get that Fury back so quickly, or the Rage.
Yeah.
Oh, back to Kyle.
Kyle, yeah, he does have the ulti. No flash. There's the knockup. Ease over the wall. Gets there. Inox to land a slow. He needs one more Rift Arc to get the kill. Flashes for it. An ulti in from Kyle. Trash is going to be the one to take the kill. If he can get the Q. Oh, no, he gets ignited. Trashy's going to die under the turret. And Kyle outplays the gank. Oh, my God.
With minimal mana going as well. Just enough for an E.
Oh, man.
And then after that, barely enough. That Lissandra passive.
Yep. It's deceptive.
Oh, man.
Well,
that looked
like the wave for it.
That looked like it was going to be pretty easy for Enemy.
Yeah, it did.
But the overextension, the overaggression for it cost them. And now it's Cinder Hulk for Trashy this game. On the Rex side. He doesn't...
All right.
If he had a longsword there, would have killed him.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. That's the payment you make by going tank instead of fighter, is your early game pressure is lower. And I mean, I still feel like if you're buying Cinder Hulk, you should probably just be playing like Nautilus or Volibear or something and not Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I talked to him before, and like I said, he said it's 50-50, depending on the game. But that's the thing is, I feel like Rek'Sai is good with Cinder Hulk, but I also feel like she's really good with Warrior, because you get that early aggression. It's really the style you're playing for, and it just looks like he's trying to play for late game right now, as opposed to being the facilitator of the action, which I don't know if it's going to help him in this game.
I mean, he's still trying to be a facilitator. It's why you pick Rek'Sai, right? Like, she's still this great early game jungler, but when you lose out a lot of the damage from not going Warrior, you just have less early game than you might have otherwise. You talked about the valid ban on Gragas. You're seeing part of the reason why. Flair's getting chased around by Seraph. Won't quite die, but flames on top of flames on top of flames makes it pretty easy for Seraph here. And once again, looks for Kyle. Nothing else to get.
Rod of Ages completed for Inox. Gonna have that scaling up. Flares doesn't even full heal. He wants this wave. Kez
wants bot lane.
Oh, Louis GG gave that away by walking forward.
Oh, darn.
Walked a little too far forward. Too much of a tell. When an Ezreal starts walking towards you, past the minion line.
Yeah. I don't even. Seraph, you missed one. Oh. Buddy. Boom. Hit the skill shot, baby. All right, Flair's going to land a bit of damage back on Seraph, but there's still just so little threat on knocking down this Shyvana. Looks like this is the matchup Seraph should have had all along. And I mean, I really just keep asking myself what would happen if they picked this champion in Game 3. Because so much of that game was Flair's being massive over Seraph. This is not happening here. Look at the gold advantages here. 1,000 gold for Seraph. Equal or close to equal almost everywhere else. Right? Mid laners and junglers, they kind of equal out. But it's a 1,000 gold lead for TDK off their top lane matchup.
Man, and I'm thinking back to it too, because when we were seeing Seraph last week, it was like this guy playing top lane Nidalee, he finally looks in his element. Back when he was on CLG, he's forced to play top lane tanks. This guy is just going to carry his team, and he's back on Shyvana, champion that he was playing with CLG.
But it's a much bigger carry style.
Yeah,
though.
We've come full circle. But granted, it is a better carry now.
Yeah. You have the ability to proxy waves and get extra farm and overlevel your opponents. The flash engage comes in, hits on her. In comes Kez. Nice flash away, and the spell shield hits True Shot Barrage. But now Body Drop locked up beside the enemy team. Stuns Smoothie. Maybe not the best target because the still kill comes through.
Inox looking down bottom, and so is Trashy, but they're going to get nothing for this.
Not at all. Rek'Sai ulti burn, just a blue buff now in the eyes of Enemy Esports. And TDK, you know, off the Zac steal somewhat. This is paying off. Kez, highest kill participation on the team. The Cinder Hulk Rek'Sai not getting much done. Enemy Esports, though, looking to chance a dragon take off the recall of TDK's bottom lane.
This top lane,
no,
if Flares dies, this is going to be really bad. Dude. He's got flash, though. Is he going to blow it?
He's going to have to.
Oh, man.
That's challenging smite right there.
This is huge, though.
Yeah.
This is huge. He doesn't have TP. Seraph has TP, and Seraph is winning this lane. This matchup top was tilted by Kez visiting it once, capitalizing immediately on it. Seraph can now be left alone in this top lane 100%, and he's going to win this matchup. So Kez ganks other sides of the map. He ganks bottom so that there's no assistance top. He pulls everybody to the bot lane. So now Seraph basically gets to be in a one-on-one world against Flares.
Yeah.
And he's already got the edge.
Yeah, and the edge is getting bigger. 1,500, 1,400 gold lead now. It's getting worse and worse. And you saw Enemy Esports attempt to tilt the mid lane matchup. I mean, it could have been a lane versus a lane, right? This could have been a 2-0 Kassadin, maybe even a 3-0 Kassadin. But Kyle got away. He outplayed the gank, and life got easy. Louis forced a flash away from Nautilus Rek'Sai. And we just have not seen these ganks, unfortunately for Trashy, work anymore. TDK looking to make this a Game 5, and they are on the road for that. 2,000 gold lead. Enemy Esports have a lot of room still to grow. And they don't even necessarily outscale anymore.
can see a lot of wards purchased for Seraph, looking to just continue pushing the top lane. Because if Aurelia overextends, she's just going to get chased down. Low cooldown, he's level 11.
Oh, ulti comes in, NACS in a pretty bad spot, flashes, Riftwalks, does not quite get caught, but then he does. The flash W from Kyle. This game is slipping away from Enemy Esports fast, and TDK looking to make a statement in this game.
Trying to make it go to a game 5. Make it so that both teams are 1 game away. But it's a 3K, 2.5K gold difference between these two teams. And Flares can't really lane anymore. That's the big thing here is Flares, we talked about his CS differential against Seraph last game, was crushing him off of the early game. And now, they picked that Aurelia early, had the Shyvana waiting for him. And with that advantage from Kez that Seraph was gifted, he now has to pretty much double jungle. Oh man, is that going to be enough?
Well, Flares goes in for Seraph. The guy has the ulti. Can they outplay the Dragon's Descent? Nope. Don't even have to. Seraph just walks away cleanly off of boots too. Enemy Esports looking for the bottom lane once again. This bot lane, despite the kills, is still winning in CS. There's the ulti in. It's going to be the... Oh man, that is a big Tabor's Otter stays to fight back, and they will pick up one. Flares matches the teleport, and this could be a whitewash. It's a 2-for-1 so far.
Body drop.
But make that a 2-for-2 as Seraph gets slowed down. Are you serious? Body drop lives, and Flares might make something happen. In comes Inox, and they get it. Enemy Esports on the road back in.
Overextension there. They're going to get this turret off the back of it too. Kyle in the mid lane doing as much work as he can at the same time. He's not going to get that mid lane turret. Inox is just going to get back there in time.
Wow, that fight was necessary for Enemy Esports. Every gank kept working for TDK. Enemy finally gets a turnaround.
And that advantage from Seraph in the top lane, it's not completely gone, but Flare's got an opportunity to not have to fight Seraph one-on-one.
That individual leads back to 1K gold. The team lead, now under 1,000 as well.
Yep. Oh, Louis GG.
Sees him.
Oh. What was that? It was nothing. It was just a land shark. Yeah, just back to farm.
Just a land shark. And a girl with telepathic control over blades. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. I don't think that is...
Yeah.
No,
well, I mean, they've got the 2-1 lead in the series, and I mean, it is a close fight, though.
Now knocking down this top turret, invading Seraph's lane. Kez looking for an engage now, though. They're going to go in.
Risky. Otto's going to get hit, knocked into the wall. Smoothie joins the fray with a lot of stuns, but the turret goes down first. Ignite is on the chase for Otter.
Oh, the crit!
Does get the crit. The Infinity Edge 1 out of 5 finally falls through. And that is a kill, 1-for-1. Turret, though, still going down. Trashy gets the Scuttler. The cowardly Scuttler.
Yeah. And now Seraph gets to push the bottom lane again. He doesn't have a Blade of the Ruined King this time.
He actually can't push well against Flares. Of course, Sunfire Cape or Juggernaut, not Juggernaut, Cinderhulk will pull turret aggro.
Yeah, you can't stand nearby. Proxying the wave is actually a really good strategy for him.
Right, the best way you can push is, proxy the wave, take some jungle camps away.
He has to ward up for that, though. Against Flares, though, Flares is Trinity 4 Spike.
He has a cowl.
He has a cowl now, too, so he has that magic resistance.
That's actually really big, I think. We'll see, maybe Enemy Esports can scrape this game together. I'm still not sure how the super late game goes, though. Seraph is going to be a big threat. Challenging Smite, we heard about it on the desk, but I think it's the biggest reason why TP Smite top lane is good. It's not, I mean, these all matter, right? Cinderhulk matters, the Gromp buff matters, but Challenging Smite is probably one of the best late game team fight summoners.
Oh yeah.
It's like Ignite and Exhaust in one on a 1.5 second, like a 1 minute cooldown.
So here's how I always thought about these spells is, Ignite is based off of your level, right? You're doing more damage based off your level. So that's for you and when you're snowballing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exhaust shuts down the other person, shuts down the other snowballed person.
Yeah.
So you're basically
taking
away comp. If they're ahead, you just shut them down even harder. So that's what Challenging Smite does, is it makes it so that if you get ahead, you get even further ahead because you're shutting down a carry.
Yeah. And if they're ahead, you lower the damage output and they're not quite as explosive. Here we go, the top lane fight one more time. Challenging Smite and Dragon's Descent, but Seraph's W is down, meaning all I can do is slowly burn him with Cinderhulk, and there's just no chase here. Flares can get away from these as long as he uses his stun correctly. But Dragon is on the field. No TP for either top laner, which is exactly what Enemy Esports want. They don't want Seraph to be in these fights. And with Inox pushing around Kyle, they're going to get this.
It'll be the second dragon for NME. Kez is going to have nothing to say about it. LuigiG does have an ultimate. What's going to be? No.
A little too early. Good spite away, and it's going to be 2 dragons to 0 for Enemy Esports. Turret killing pressure actually might matter a lot. This is, to me, a pretty split push focused game.
Yeah, oh yeah. Seraph's pretty much going to stay in the top lane until his TP's up, and then he's just going to go. He's never going to group with the team because it's going to affect his CS and his farm. He needs to stay ahead of FLICKR.
Kez, yeah, not a lot he can do about this one. Otter is short range, and he pulled Turret Dagger, unfortunately. But you can see they're knocking this down pretty quickly.
Looks like they are looking for a 5v5 here in the mid lane.
Seraph, no rage right now. Can't turn into the big dragon. Mega Shyvana, I guess.
Luden's Echo completed for Inox.
Yes. Gives him poke. Oddly enough.
Poke gives him the burst.
A lot of health down. That's about a third of the health bar for a Q from Kassadin. That is pre-Sork Shoes. Once again, check these gold leads. Seraph remains 1K up. Otherwise, very small leads back and forth.
Yeah, Inox can pretty much QRE kill Smoothie.
You've got W.
Doesn't have to W.
You don't need to bring the crew to kill him?
Nope.
That's what KREW spells. Or QREW, whatever.
With a Q?
Close enough.
He's going to check his character sheet, and then, oh, look at this, they go in.
Kyle loses a lot of health in this one. Kez trying to play a bit of dissonance, and that's going to do the case for them, but Smoothie forced to flash away off the re-engage. Stays alive, Kez flashing out of this one as well.
Where's Seraph? He's off on the right side here.
Looks like he's got nothing to do, though. He's got the full rage bar, but no engage. Bit of wave clear from Ezreal, and this will be some time until the wave comes up. It's low on health, but looks like no one to defend it. Means this will be a turret kill. Seraph gets locked up, but they can't easily kill the tank. They will knock down the turret first, and Seraph at half will walk away safely.
Very even game right now. 35,000 gold between both teams, just teetering back and forth. A lot of turrets for TDK to still take. But the thing is, they're just doing split push. It's all Seraph knocking down these turrets. They're putting him in the bottom lane, trying to get him some CS, push it out, and also get to that turret. But FLICKR is actually having a good answer to this, surprisingly.
Yeah, FLICKR is doing an amazing job of staying afloat in a matchup that he has no business winning anymore. We've seen how those fights go. It ends with FLICKR's running away with his tail between his legs, and yet he's holding parity with Seraph.
Seraph is now going for the Blade of the Ruined King. Because last time he got that second item, he went Randuin's second now.
I think he needs it to survive the damage output that Aurelia can deal. It's a bunch of true damage. The attack speed, slow, and health, I think, a very big deal. I do think this makes sense for the one-on-one matchup.
Yeah. Now he's going to have multiple slows. Randuin's, then he's going to be able to Blade of the Ruined King and keep her near him. Which is what this matchup is all about. He needs to be able to 1v1 that Aurelia with the challenging smite.
Spirit Visage done. Lower cooldown stun, a pretty big deal here for FLICKR. Kez gets the Raptor buff. And as we sit in this game with the smallest of gold leads, it's 2 dragons to 0, and otherwise a basically equal game. What are the points of pressure anymore? Despite the ganks, Otter and Body Drop are still a threat in this game. Seraph would have pressure onto FLICKR, but he's going to take the push into the bot lane. Smoothie and LuigiG are here, though, and Trashy's put some wards down. But TDK keep the vision pretty clear. FLICKR is pretty alone down here.
And LuigiG just hit his Muramana power spike about a minute and a half ago at 23. So he has a lot of damage in this mid game. He's got the Muramana, he's got the Trinity Force. Seraph looking at the top lane. Nobody's here to answer him just yet. Otter's coming up. Oh, FLICKR, he's not alone.
He tries to turn it around, but guess what? Kez is around in this fight. Ult comes across, but LuigiG still dies. 2-on-1, and FLICKR gets the kill. He can stun as well, by the way. Kez gonna take that if he's in range. And that's gonna be a lot of damage coming through on this poor Zac. He's gonna be soon split into boblets. Meanwhile, Seraph in a 1v2 of his own in the top lane takes a turret down, but will die for that sin. And I think Kez split into pieces. It's 3 kills in a row, and Enemy Esports making a statement right now.
And Kyle still shoving the mid lane, and there's not even a turret there left for him to take. Not being active on these side lanes is really going to hurt TDK if they're not able to collapse.
Absolutely true. There's really nothing going well.
There's pressure all across the map now in favor of Enemy. They're shoving top, middle, and bottom at the same time. So they're going to get all this experience, all this wave clear, all this gold, and they're going to knock down that bottom tier 2 turret.
Bottom tier 2 is gone. Top lane can be pushed into the tier 2 mid lane. The exact same thing. This team can recall safely before the rest of TDK respawns. A lot of control now for Enemy Esports sitting. You got it, don't worry. Trust me, it's dead. Oh wait, are you serious?
No, they toggled vision on you. Don't worry about it. It's dead.
That was the other team, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had my backup service.
Oh.
Alright, we good. Red buff goes over to TDK. And Trashy with a bit of a greedy recall.
In the middle of vision.
Yeah, why not?
There's 20 seconds on the dragon. Everybody from Enemy backing
convenient.
so they can cash in on the turrets. You can see IE, Last Whisper, Luden's Echo, Rod of Ages.
Weird.
Inox.
He bought a... No, he's buying part of a death cap.
There you go. Needlessly large rod completed.
I think I'd want him to have sword shoes, though. Magic Coin's a pretty good stat at this point in the game, but either way, TDK are here first. Seraph rejoined the team already. He didn't push the bot the rest of the way out. They want this dragon. It's a bit of a surround for Enemy Esports. This is the fight. This is the one. These teams got to win. In they go. Trashy wants to steal. He doesn't get it. It goes to the blue team and the fight begins. Kyle on the backside. A bunch of bursts to the front side of Smoothie is the first one to go down. Otter forced out by Seraph, but still being chased. The enemy AD carry will fall over, and it's actually more kills going in for TDK. FLICKR's in the front lines getting whatever he can. Kyle about to get chunked out. Now Kez maybe the target. Seraph, though, still incredibly disruptive. He's going for FLICKR's his second smite this fight. One more hit will get him. He gets it. Seraph and Kez just brawling everybody, and the fight goes to TDK.
These poor AD carries are just getting annihilated, and then it's the tanks just sitting around waiting for the damage dealers to come back in. Seraph chased Otter out of the fight, killed him, and then had to have Kyle survive. Kyle ulties himself just to stay alive long enough to bait Enemy to stay in the pit with him.
Blade of the Ruin King Seraph did a whole ton of work that game, in that fight.
Watching this again, Seraph is just going to do a ton of work onto Otter. He's extremely fast. He's got his ultimate pop, but it's all about this damage. The engage there from Smoothie is actually really good. That backline stun sets Seraph up for that initial burst of damage, and now it's all about surviving. Just stay alive so Seraph can come back into this and help clean up. Kez and Kyle buying time. You see there, popping the Zonias immediately after he ulties himself too, just so he's got vulnerability for as long as possible.
I think he actually should have stunned someone else, though, because it actually let Luigi get chased down. Like, they just switched over and hit the AD carry, and I think Kyle actually with a bit of a bad target selection here, but overall, though, a fight that went to TDK because they finally got a dragon kill, and 25 minutes in, that dragon extra damage is a pretty big deal. Nice quick sweep there, and Sivir getting tons of farm.
It's the damage check time. See the duel come out, and who's going to win it? Nope, not even going to go for it.
Not even going to try.
Oh, but here's the thing, is if FLICKR goes too far forward and they collapse around him, it's going to be like, where did this Shyvana come from?
FLICKR's really aggressive here. Smoothie gets away, and he's like, you know what?
That was,
I'm afraid.
I just wanted the ward. Oh, where did this Shyvana come from?
Blade of the Ruin King challenging smite. Here we go. FLICKR's nowhere to really run. No flash. But Trashy showing up is going to be enough to deter TDK.
Unfortunately, I don't think he landed his E there to actually get the percent HP shred.
Okay.
It would have been a little bit more damage off of that. It's an immense amount, 2.5% maximum HP as magic damage on hit.
And Blade of the Ruin King's 8% current health per hit, so you can knock down pretty much anyone with a build like this.
As physical.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, challenging smite is flat true damage over time, so good luck itemizing well on this one. Top lane under fire, though. Enemy Esports really wants to take this one down. Luigi G gets chunked out by Cassid and Sivir. But they're afraid. They know things could go wrong.
From Seraph. He's trying to flank.
Can they cut him off? He's got Dragon's Descent. Will he lock in the entire team?
He wants Otter.
Losing a lot of health, goes in for Otter, a lot of damage dealt, and yes,
oh my God,
he can almost take down the AD carry. Kez does it with Smite in the middle of the air, and it's a 5-on-4. Kyle on the back lines pops the ult onto FLICKR's, who doesn't even care about stuns. More kills coming through. He solos the back line, looks for Smoothie, gets him as well. Inox gets a kill before trading his own life, and it's a 2-on-4. Nautilus and Aurelia versus Seraph and Kez. Ships in the night, trading blows, and Seraph will go down. Kez takes the support. One-on-one. Kez cannot possibly lose this fight, I imagine, and FLICKR's flash, stun, run, run.
Whee!
Whee!
I don't know. Aurelia's
runs
pretty fast
faster.
with the Trinity Force. Come back here, FLICKR.
Ezreal ult comes up when he respawns in 5 seconds.
Is he going to jump the wall?
Yep. Juke it. Where's the outplay?
There is it. Is he going to go?
Oh, no.
Whee!
What?
He's like, where did he go?
There's a minion
no!
He can stun. It's fine. He's going to live. Watch. Stun. Q to a minion. He's fine. Oh! I was mostly right. I said Ez was going to respawn with ulti. I claim credit on that one.
That's not fighting fair.
Oh, man.
That was a 6v5 at the end of the day.
Louis GG died first and got the last kill in that team fight.
Calculated. Oh.
All right.
Glorious.
This game is awesome, by the way.
Glorious fight.
Not only is this game really fun, this game is for a spot in the NALCS, if you didn't know. These guys, how much pressure have they got to be under at this point?
But the fact that team fight went TDK's way, even after getting chunked out at the start, Louis GG took a huge amount of damage before that even happened. And now he's sitting at about half HP. Seraph jumps in for Otter. He doesn't even have Blade of the Ruined King active at this point because he just used it bot lane. And Kez jumps in with the smite for the kill. And you can see here, Louis GG is like, well, I have no HP, but I have to be a part of this fight. Amazing cleanup here for just both teams played this really well. The fact they're all just clustering in. Inox does overextend, though, and puts himself at risk as the Kassadin. You need to skirt around the fight while people and carries are still alive. You can't put your body right on top of them and get that Rift Walk damage.
It's going to be hard, yeah. It's a really tanky team overall. Well, I guess it's not actually that tanky. It's 2 tanks, but they were the last ones alive, and they did a lot of damage in that team fight. Locket picked up for Kez, helps to keep the team durable. And Seraph now has Thornmail to make life even harder for his primary enemy, this Sivir, trying to auto-attack down the double tank lineup.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing, too.
Yeah.
Is that... Oh, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
Seraph is going hard.
There's the ulti in the backline. Luigi gets stunned up, and the fight has begun. Otter in a really bad spot. Will kite away from Seraph safely, and Nautilus, the first casualty. 2 kills picked up. Yeah, wow, somehow Sivir still died. Inox off over the wall. Luigi is going to find him, trying to buy a bit of time, but it looks like TDK just able to run over this enemy team. 2-0 Dragons theirs.
Yeah, challenging smite is a damage over time, over 3 seconds. It looked like it was just enough true damage to finish Otter off on the side of the screen. And here's the thing. Thornmail returns damage pre-mitigation. So at this point, Otter is almost doing more damage to himself than he's actually dealing to Seraph.
Yeah. And without any major lifesteal yet, he's still on just Vamp Scepter.
And when you challenging smite the person and decrease their damage output by 20%,
yeah,
the Thornmail still returns full value.
Oh, I know. It's hard. Interestingly, both of these... So I want to first preface, both teams are running double tank, right? The junglers are both going Cinderhulk. The top laners are very durable. Seraph a bit more so, to be completely fair, but it's kind of a double tank lineup, and you could consider it maybe 3 as Nautilus kind of scales up over time. But both these AD carries are 2 of the worst auto attackers in terms of sustained DPS. Otter's so short range, he has to kite for more often than not. Louis GG just doesn't build crit because he's Ezreal, which makes his damage output actually on the lower end. Knocking down tanks is actually really hard for both these teams.
Yeah.
And yet, they're probably the biggest threats overall in the team fight.
You want to eliminate them as soon as possible because they're the biggest threat with the easiest catch.
Yeah.
It's kind of like cost-benefit analysis, right? Do we go after the Lissandra, she'll ulti, she'll Zhonya's, or do we go after the Ezreal and try to take him out with our Kassadin? It's like, do you go after the Kassadin who can escape, or do you go after the Sivir who's trying to run around and has even less HP at this point?
Yeah. Well, right now, it's been tough for Otter. Sivir not able to put down enough damage to keep himself alive in the team fights. And the difficult thing as well is, like, do you go Ruin King or do you go Bloodthirster? Because he needs the lifesteal to survive, but he wants the % health damage to actually chunk down tanks, and it's a difficult situation, honestly. He needs both.
You can see Blade of the Ruined King for Louis GG.
Yeah, I like that.
Needing that kite. Flares does have his Guardian Angel completed, so if there is a flub here, he's able to come back, get a second chance, get some redemption. It seems to be all about the team fights right now, though. Those top laners are pretty much back to wet noodle fights.
Yeah. The damage is getting outstripped now by the durability pickup, so that with Seraph having the Ruin King, I feel like that matchup still goes his way. As far as items are concerned, getting one with lifesteal is pretty darn good. Scuttle Crab is going to go over to TDK. Inox, not going to get the steal. Kez, though, you can see there's some decent damage that does come out from Inox here.
Body Drop flashes.
He's going to ult Seraph. That is not who you want. That does nothing at all. And Body Drop might be the first kill here. Inox also forced to jump away from this one. A very afraid Cassin into the backline they go. Flares cannot kill Louis GG. He's ulted by the Lissandra, but they're going to trade 1-for-1 support for mid laner. Inox still alive, but there's the revive from Flares. Louis GG still alive. Flares is not, though. Alive. Seraph chunked down by Trashy. Inox does have enough damage. Seraph has fallen to 2-for-2 top laners dead. Enemy Esports looks to be able to actually make a push happen.
Both AD carries surviving that engage.
Yeah.
It's a miracle for both of them.
The entire team went to go peel back the top laners. Both made the same adaptation in that team fight. To kill Flares and to kill Seraph.
Confirmed. Top laners cannot 1v4 despite being in this new meta where tanks are huge.
You know, one thing that's actually really massive, Otter got the red elixir here, which does lifesteal off of Ricochet and Boomerang Blades damage on champions.
Damage you deal.
And it can't be Thorn Milled either. So much life is coming back to Otter right now. He gets to go Ruin King, the lowered lifesteal item, because he's getting health back from other sources. There's actually a real threat now from Sivir once that item gets completed. And he's only 1,000 gold away from completing it.
Baron setup here for both teams, even in Dragons. Close in kills, even in gold. Bases have not been cracked just yet. This is the longest game today.
Yeah. This is ridiculously intense, man. Fighting for an LCS spot, TDK having to win 2 in a row. Enemy Esports just need to close one more game out. And both these teams are making their opponents work for it here.
And both teams have been playing to their strengths. Camp Seraph top, Camp Inox mid for Enemy. They have been playing to these strengths remarkably well this game.
Even the scorelines in CS are like identical between those two. 7-4-5 on Seraph, 330 CS. 7-2-4 on Inox, 730 CS. Engage comes in, they will catch Smoothie. The squishy Annie. It's going to be Flares going in, gets the deletion, but Flares could be counter-engaged on. He's going to walk out safely. Now Trashy's the stun target, and Seraph in the back line. He gets Otter, cleanly knocks him down. Inox nearly dead. Be careful, here comes Kyle. That's going to be Trashy, forced to flash away. That's going to be Flares dying. It's 2 kills picked up, and TDK aren't done. Body Drop will likely die now to Seraph, who is on the hunt, but no, they turn back towards this Baron Nashor. Smite is up for both of their smite holders.
That's going to be a huge advantage for TDK. They're going to be able to knock down turrets with this and start getting a really big gold lead for themselves. Seraph is just slaughtering Otter.
Oh, man. You know,
Seraph's pretty much winning them this game.
Oh, yeah, he is.
And it's funny because I've said that about 6 TDK games.
Still true.
His Mundo game, where people couldn't kill him, the game where he was playing Nidalee top and just split pushed and ended it. The Lissandra where he comes in, like there's this guy playing carry top laners and playing a style where the team is going to revolve around his split push seems to be working out for him. This is a much better depth charge than last time. It hits Smoothie, but this backline, Kez is disrupting, and Seraph TPs into the backline.
On top of Otter.
And they ignore it. They don't collapse onto Seraph, and he just destroys Otter. And then he turns to Body Drop, and he actually gets to flank around this fight now as that Shyvana closes off where Trashy and Inox are trying to leave, but then Body Drop decides he has to go the other direction, has to get Seraph away from those guys.
What's crazy is Shyvana is one of the most, or I would say more kiteable champions in League of Legends. She can Dragon's Ascent in, she can Ruin King you. But one Anchor Smash, one Q, and she's no longer going to be able to ever reach Sivir again. But the resources are not being spent to keep this Shyvana off the Enemy Esports AD carry.
So there's actually a couple things. He buys the Elixir of Iron to give himself that tenacity. He has the Randuin's Omen on top of the Blade of the Ruined King, and the W, which is going to give him that huge burst of movement speed.
And he went Alacrity Boots.
Exactly. So he has so much movement speed to get to Otter.
Oh,
Here comes Flares,
this is the play.
They don't have
is on TDK. They don't have Seraph. Teleports down. It's a 4v5. In they go. Knockup from Trash. Doesn't find too much. Gets stunned by Kyle. But here comes the re-engage. Health bar is getting lower. Sivir ult helping Enemy Esports chase on in. 1 kill for Inox. He's going to get Smoothie. That's 2. There's a chase on to Kez. It's going to almost be 3, but he's out of mana. The 2 for nothing. Seraph pushes down mid lane, and Enemy Esports have some time.
They didn't group up when they had Baron. There's no reason to split push right now when you have a stronger team fight at the moment with this, and this just immense Seraph.
Problem is there's no waves. TDK gets a turret for this team fight because there's nothing else Enemy Esports can do. They recall back. Seraph's gonna get the turret anyway. All they can do is mop up waves and essentially go equal in gold for that.
Yeah, but not having a TP was really big. So now Flares won't have his, so Seraph gets to split push on his TP timer and then TP into the fight. And Flares either gives up that turret to Seraph, regardless of what turret it might be, and then, or Seraph gets to TP into a fight for free and leave Flares in the top lane.
Absolutely true. These fights are going incredibly close, but it feels like they're fights that TDK would easily be winning overall. This feels like TDK's game. They're up 2,000 gold. Seraph is basically unstoppable.
Oh man.
Much like this.
He doesn't want to use too much to actually go after Flares.
Yeah.
Just because the fight might happen at any time and they might abuse those timers.
Well, Kez gets tickled a little bit. Flares will recall. He doesn't have a prayer of wave clearing as well as Seraph here. So wave control easily. 1.5 minutes left on Seraph's teleport. That's a big deal.
Oh, Kez.
This is risky, though.
GG, they're waiting for the juicy target. Oh, boy, they got...
Well, they have the inside track on mid lane, though. If Flares can keep from turrets going down, Challenging might use, Seraph getting some decent damage, but mid lane's getting pressured. This is everyone from TDK going top lane, but Enemy's pushing down the mid lane right now.
What? They're on those turrets.
Oh, no.
They're gonna crack the base. They have to back.
TDK, that was the biggest misstep I've seen them make all series, and Enemy Esports gets the out-rotation top inhibitor kill. Or mid inhibitor kill, sorry.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That misplay right there. That miscall. Trying to put too many resources top, not checking the mid lane. And a lot of that...
They saw them clear mid is the thing.
They saw them clear mid. They saw them sit in that brush. And then they went from that brush immediately barreling down that mid lane. Unchecked turret. That capitalization, that's usually something you see TDK do to their opponent, but Enemy seem to be taking this very, very seriously right now.
Oh, man.
That's a bold call, because it's if TDK are actually thinking about what they're doing, then that's very punishable.
Yeah.
But Seraph wasn't going to TP flank that, didn't have any options to do so.
Yeah.
So not a lot of ways for them to capitalize on it as TDK. So Enemy and Meat just get a free inhib turret and crack the base.
It was a great rotation. And the rotation game, honestly, in this game is really interesting. It's when you start talking about the champion selects and the items that have been here. So TDK, they went first pick Annie, and right off the bat, Enemy Esports took Sivir. Sivir is the queen of rotational play. Big move speed ultimate, get my team wherever I want them to be, get the plays going, nice stuff here. TDK try to match that. They go Talisman of Ascension on Annie. It's not as good as a Sivir ult, but at least it's something. No Righteous Glory for either team. No second Talisman. He is, though, yeah.
He's trying to
You're going to have that second movement speed out of him for TDK. Maybe they can match Sivir ult, but otherwise, Enemy Esports can easily play the rotation game because they can simply run their entire team away from bad situations. Also, I think it's actually really big. QSS got picked up here for Otter. He can drop Challenging Smite and really stop a lot of what Seraph's doing to him. It's 162 damage over 3 seconds, and of course you can refresh that with Challenging Smite.
Trashy's on the split push duty right now while the TP from Flares is down, so he gets to use his ultimate to get back to the bottom, but he gets to shove out these waves. And that's the thing is TDK have to do damage control, have to control these waves right now. It's a minute for Dragon and Baron. Look at that.
Oh, they caught Kyle! Pops his hoodie, he still has self-ult, though they can't go for this one. There's the engage. Flare's stunned up. He's got GA, but Body Drop is going to live up to his name. Down he goes. Kyle's traded, though. It's a 1-for-1. There's the GA pop. Inox finds Luigi G, but can't get the kill. Into the backline goes Seraph. A flash by Otter to try to get away. They're trying to peel him out, but Otter's got nowhere to go. But first he takes down Smoothie. It's going to be the 3 kills for 2 here.
The base. They have to worry about the base a little bit.
Enemy are running.
TDK. Oof. Luigi G called back to deal with these super minions in the middle.
Yeah, it gives time. And it's 25 seconds on Dragon and on Baron. How long is TDK stuck inside their base? Because giant global objectives are on the map in a 3-on-2 for TDK. Both Dragon and Baron on the table.
They'll at least get Dragon off of this. The Baron would be a slightly bolder call. But
do you go bold?
It's still kind of doable, though.
Keep in mind, this is Dragon 4 for TDK. Seraph's on that side of the map. He just took down Scuttler, or is trying to at this time.
Yeah, they're going to go safe. They're going to go for the Dragon 4.
Flares is here, but he does not have Flash.
It's going to be a smite fight.
And it's a 2-on-2. There's no Ezreal.
3 smites here. Who gets it?
This is actually pretty big. It's movement speed for Enemy Esports, and it goes over to TDK. No engage afterwards. Out goes the team.
TDK now the next round that this Dragon comes up. If this game is going to last that long, 46 minutes in. Enemy Esports are 15 minutes away, tops, from being in the LCS or playing a Game 5.
Oh, man. And then your mental fortitude if you get to Game 5. That is everything it's about here. Kez misses the E. Dragon 4 is minion killing pressure, which means they can actually deal with the super minion waves quite a bit faster, which could be very important as the mid lane inhib is still down. Flares is splitting bot lane, and that's a TP advantage, by the way. Seraph is betting his bottom inhibitor with Baron right here. 8,000 health. TP comes in for Flares. This is the fight. They don't land the anchor, but into the back line goes Trashy. A big burst, and Kyle goes down. Louis GG in the target as well. Smoothly tries to disengage, but Trashy is not yet stopped. Flares goes in. Inox as well. The Squishy's all going down. It's only Seraph, but Seraph, guys, that's going to be the game. Enemy Esports, 4 kills. This will be the 5th, and they've got minions flooding into the base.
They just jumped on Kyle, had no time to react, no Zonias, no ultimate pop. They're going to end the game right here.
Right here and right now. The most grueling Game 4 I've ever been able to cast. And Enemy Esports, they put it all out there. They took the engage off of Baron. The inhibitor respawn trolls them. But they're going to close the game out. Enemy Esports, welcome to the North American League Championship Series. What a game.
There was so much pressure in that game. It was a Game 4, it wasn't a Game 5, and you could still feel it. That's your North American LCS team.
Oh, man.
You're being auto-promoted.
Oh, man.
For summer.
You can see TDK, they are not happy, but not all hope is lost. They will be in the summer promotion tournament. They put on a good showing today. And maybe they will be joining Enemy Esports after all in the North American LCS. Dignitas and Winterfox now have to choose who they're going to face. TDK, Team Fusion, we will see them again in a few more weeks, with 2 more spots on the North American LCS on the line. But today, it's all about Enemy Esports. 3-1 victory over TDK. An incredibly well-earned Game 4 victory here.
And you can see it means so much to all these players. Otter and Body Drop, having been on a team together, Otter's been looking for this for 2 years plus. Body Drop, same story. Inox, he was in the LCS as a top laner. Didn't have the greatest of performances. He's wanting to rewrite that.
Yeah.
Making a name for himself as a mid laner and challenger, looking to be the best he can. And then Trashy.
Yeah.
Coming over from Europe, exerting his dominance as a jungler, and showing that he has what it takes to be in the North American LCS.
And Deficio's happy. We have another Dane in the North American LCS here with Trashy, representing Europe a little bit.
And then the #1 player in solo queue in top lane, Flares.
Yeah.
He got a taste of LCS this season.
It's true.
As a top laner for Winterfox as a sub.
Yeah. And you know, you mentioned these players rejoining the LCS, players like Inox. I guess even Flares if you want to count that. TDK, Seraph wants to retry, Kez wants to retry. Even they still got that chance in the promo tournament. Ni and Tanso over on Fusion the same. But guys, there's still fight left in us. That promo tournament's going to be amazing, but Enemy Esports can take a sigh of relief and breathe for a bit. They've done it, and now they've got to practice. They've got to practice for the pro leagues. These guys are in, but they're going to be facing Team Solo Mid, Counterlogic Gaming, Cloud9, Team Liquid, the biggest and baddest teams in North America. You passed your first test, guys, but here is a much harder one.
And you can see that logo behind them, the North American Challenger Series. They're no longer in that.
No, not at all.
Moving on to the North American LCS. See how they perform.
I gotta say, they got a cool logo, they got cool looking jerseys.
A lot of dreams, a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah, a ton of hard work. These guys lost 2 games throughout the entire Challenger Series. Their overall record, 14-2. #1 team in Challenger, joining the LCS, replacing Team Coast. We have to see what their aspirations lie as. I mean, there's a, like, if they really improve, they really make that stride, like, this is the split that leads to Worlds. They're in the summer split now of the North American LCS. If they keep that skyrocketing play, if they actually start competing with the best of the best, they could pull an LMQ, join the summer split, go to Worlds.
That's true.
It happened last year. There's a real possibility for these guys. We've seen a lot of great upstart teams do amazing in their first time in the LCS. And H2K, semifinalist. Yeah. Unicorns of Love, semifinalist in their first split in the LCS.
And I've had my eye on Trashy for a while now, since he was on Recent Gaming back in Europe, and he was on H2K. I was like, when is this guy going to be in the LCS? Because he's been a phenomenal jungler that's able to play almost every style.
Yeah.
He can play control. He can play forceful junglers. He can play reactionary. Yeah. And he's really, really just a dominant force in every game, in every team that he's been on.
Yeah, absolutely dominant player. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun to see Trashy play. And overall, I like this Enemy Esports lineup. I like how they were able to adapt throughout the picks and bans, like how they were able to adapt throughout the team fights. Bodied out finally playing Peel for Otter, and Otter actually managed to solo kill Sarah for the very end of that team fight. So I want to see what these guys' brains can bring out in now an extended season in the North American LCS.
And what I really like about this Enemy squad is you said they only dropped 2 games during the entire Challenger Series. They never got complacent. They always wanted more, and they never underestimated their opponents. They always hit them with everything they had.
Yeah, and it turns out these guys have a whole lot to hit people with because they are your winners. And now we've got Jat and Crumbs, the telestrator, to help us break down that Game 4 win by Enemy Esports.
Thank you, Freak. And wow, that was a ridiculous Game 4. Crumbs, we got to talk a little bit about the overall game first, because as far as the series goes, that was by far the closest and most competitive one.
Now, that game to me felt like it was Seraph 1v5ing, while Enemy, as a unit somewhat, trying to deal with the carries of TDK. And unfortunately, Seraph was mostly just killing Otter. It was a little difficult, but that last fight, that was really the heartbreaker for the entire TDK lineup, at least. The Enemy played it very well. Yeah, Seraph was an absolute monster, but as far as actually dealing with it by the end of the game, it felt like Enemy, Inox's Kassadin, was crushing the backline. He didn't have to build Zhonya's in pretty much a full item build. With the new change to the Kassadin, having that lower cooldown on Ritwalk, he's able to be really mobile, so even if you get a lot of crowd control on him, he went with the Merc Treads build, so he's able to more than likely just dodge out of any crowd control. So he becomes a really annoying champion to deal with. And coupled with Aurelia, a pick like Ezreal isn't going to be able to stand when you get dove by that, coupled with a Sivir speed up. Yeah, and throughout the game, we were trying to find the right clip for this because it was back and forth, a 2-kill fight here, a 2-kill fight here. So it's really just the game-deciding fight. We have that clip to pull it up right here because really, this was a moment where TDK still absolutely could have won this game. It could have gone either way. Enemy decided to force this with the split push, and then we end up getting this fight here. Crumbs, tell me what happened with TDK and how Enemy won this fight. Now, TDK starts this because Aurelia is split pushing, so they want to make something happen. They saw Kassadin coming in from the front side, and Nautilus goes on the Lissandra, but she fails to react to it, and she gets popped immediately. At that point, TDK has already lost the fight. Enemy has won. All they need to do is chase down the Ezreal, remove the damage from the team. Seraph on the other side is getting kited by the Sivir. She made a great itemization. Blade of the Ruined King to kite better, and the QSS to remove the Skirmisher Saber. So now she's actually able to deal damage, and just needed that point in the late game to happen. He also did not buy... He sold his boots for a Trinity Force. We kept tracking the item builds because Seraph was basically item capped at like 37 minutes, whereas Otter had plenty more to build. And once Seraph was item capped,
it really felt like TDK needed to change their strategy of team fighting because NME had it figured out. And if they continued that style of killing Kyle, letting Otter kite, eventually they were going to end up winning the game. But TDK never adapted. NME ended up just crushing with that last fight.
Yeah, I felt like really that last fight was a lot of mechanical misplays from TDK and NME capitalizing on the weak parts. They knew that the TDK carries were not playing that very well, even from the beginning. We pointed out during the laning phase, 3 waves in, that's 19 creeps on the board. Kyle hit 10 out of 19 creeps with no pressure from a Kassadin on a Lissandra matchup. You know, they were really, felt like it was a little bit tilted.
It was crazy because we know both teams were under a huge amount of pressure. And that's one of the big things we were kind of looking at coming into this series is we knew NME was so dominant during the regular season. But I was actually thinking it was going to be a 3-0. You were the one saying it was going to be a much closer series. And it was actually much closer. I think the stage presence and the fact that an LCS spot was on the line contributed to some of these close games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to see a little bit more diversity from the pick and ban phase from TDK. They really felt like they didn't quite understand what they wanted to do. Like, especially that last game, the Kassadin pick really snowballed out of control. The previous game, it showed they could not deal with Kassadin. They had no idea how to deal with this champion. And then they let it go again. They picked the exact same matchup, and the exact ganks happened left, right, and center. So, you know, poor adaptation, and congratulations to NME for getting their spot now.
Newest member of the North American LCS, and we're actually going to hand it off to Dash to talk to 2 of those players from NME.
Thank you very much, guys. Here with Inox and Otter, as Jack just mentioned, the newest additions to the LCS for Summer Split. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
If I were closer, I would shake your hand, Otter. I do want to ask you the first question, though. You have been trying to get into the LCS for quite a long time now. You've made it. You've made it. You've made it. How does it feel?
It's probably the best feeling I've ever experienced. Like, I'm so extremely happy right now. Like, I'm so proud of everyone on my team, and I'm so proud of myself. Like, I'm just so happy.
Well, congratulations again. And Inox, you have been in the LCS before. This is the story, the journey of your return to the LCS and moving from the top lane to the mid lane. So give me a little bit about what this has been like for you.
Probably the most fun I've ever had playing League of Legends. Getting like onto an actual team where we work together. We have the analyst, the coach. I get like a team that trusts me. I can go into any game and they'll be like, pick what you want. You can do whatever. No one's playing Kassadin, you can play Kassadin. No one's playing Katarina. Well, I mean, there's been a few Katarinas. You can go ahead and play it. And whenever a meta would change, I just pick up that champion because my team trusts me.
And so obviously that sounds like a fantastic team environment, but yours is a team that has many threats on it. So after we talk about TDK and Seraph being the major threat on that team, but on your end, you've got Flares in the top lane, yourself in the mid lane, Otter, and then you have Trashy in the jungle. Like, everyone can be a threat at different times, and we saw that in this series. I mean, talk to me about how many doors that opens for a team when you guys can play so many different things.
Well, I think it's probably one of the best things we had going into this draft, because when we noticed that we were like, okay, maybe we need to run the more utility engage bot lane, it was completely fine to take Otter off of the carry role, which we normally have him on, and he like excels at. We could just have, okay, Flares carry, Inox carry. Trashy, you need to take this tank role to fulfill, because Flares is going to carry. And everything just worked out, well, ever since we cleaned that up.
Absolutely. And Otter, speaking of which, you had to deal with that Shyvana in your face every single time. I mean, it was just like, you know, we're back here on the analyst just going, oh my God, he's being left out to dry here. They talk about your fantastic itemization, but I mean, assuming that role on your team, I mean, your heart must have been just pumping knowing that, like, all I have to do is run, you know, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge as much as I can there at the end of the game.
Yeah, it actually felt like I was playing a completely different game because there was, like, this team fight going on that I wasn't even watching. I didn't know how it was going because all I was trying to do was run away from the Shyvana, and that's literally what the game came down to. It was just me running away from the Shyvana. Like, that's all I did.
Now, going into this series as a whole, I want to take a step back and look at your guys' mentality as a team coming into this, because you were touted as the best challenger team. But there's a lot of pressure coming onto the stage for some of you the first time, and for others not. But coming onto the stage, playing in the LAN setting, and the jitters and the experience of the best of 5. Otter, what was the mindset like for the team coming into this series?
Honestly, we were really, really confident. But as the series went on, it appeared that it wasn't as easy as we thought. So, I mean,
We were really confident, though, going into it.
And NACS, having had the experience of being on the stage and one of the most veteran players, what were you trying to do to assist your teammates in stepping up and like feeling comfortable in this new setting? Well,
we were definitely confident going in, but then having everyone be like, yeah, I think Enemy's going to 3-0 or 3-1, like it'll be completely stop. Everyone was just like confidence slowly diminishing, starting to get nervous, starting to get anxious. I know I was starting to get, and I have a lot of stage experience.
It kind of sets you up to fail, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like there's no way you could possibly perform to the standards that everyone is setting for you. But you guys did, in all honesty. There was the one dropped game, but aside from that, seemed fairly in control. Really, the final thing I want to ask you guys is, in that last game, you guys are going into the 40th, 50th minute, right? And you know that all you need is one and done. One and you're in. That's it. I mean, hearts pounding, the emotion. What were the comms like? How were you guys communicating with each other and keeping your heads cool during this, huge moment?
Well, for me, I was actually just trying to stay a bit quiet because I was a bit sad from the Shyvana just killing me over and over. So I wasn't trying to influence everyone else by that way. But the second that I realized that we were winning, we started winning fights, I started feeling excited and just ready to get into LCS. I was just so ready.
And you guys are. You're there. You're in it. Again, I want to congratulate you both and the entire organization on your qualification to the LCS. Thank you for taking the time to join me here. I'm sure you want to go out and celebrate.
Definitely.
Anyway, to close out our evening, we're going to send it back over to our guys on the caster desk.
Oh, man, thank you very much, Dash. This has been an absolutely amazing series to cast. I know in Europe it was like, all right, Origin, congrats on your 3-0, man. Took like an hour and a half total. This one, I am so happy I got to cast. This is, I think, one of my favorite series I've gotten to cast because of how amazing the last game was.
Yeah, that's definitely probably one of my favorite Game 4s ever because Game 5s get that hyped.
That's true, no matter what. This one already was that amazing just because it was so darn close, and you're like, dude, if TDK pulls that one, how shattered is Enemy Esports going to be? Is Game 5 going to be a walkover?
It could be the turnaround there, where it's like, how do we deal with this Shyvana in the top lane? Otter, he said right there that he was getting a little quiet because he just felt like he was playing a different game, right? And then if that happens in the 5th game, that mentality, you have to be able to snap out of that. But they weren't taken to that point. That perfect Nautilus ultimate there knocked 3 people up. If that was Zhonya's, it wouldn't have knocked anybody up. And it would have had a way to kite backwards. So amazing last team fight there for Enemy.
A TP disadvantage for Seraph versus Flares. Kez makes the call. Let's go take down Baron. Here's the climactic team fight, 5-on-5. It's a 5-0.
And here's the thing, too, is TDK, they get to play against Winter Fox or Dignitas. So they still have a shot at the LCS. And after that showing, they've just been showing me that they're only getting better and better.
Yeah.
Every time they play, I'm like, all right, this at the start of the season, it was like, okay, no, TDK, they're kind of on the radar. It's Seraph's team. Then it was like, oh, wait, no, Louis can actually do things. Oh, wait, Kyle's actually showing that he's a good mid laner right now. He needs to be able to step up and improve even more. And then that series, I'm really looking forward to the promotion tournament now.
It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. 2 more best of 5s to see which other 2 teams will be rejoining the North American LCS. But as we finish out this series, there was one player who stood out today above the rest, had a huge impact for his team, and it was Enemy's mid laner, Inox. Inox was absolutely incredible. His carry style for the mid lane, play what you want. How about Katarina? How about 2 Kassadin games? How about I destroy the entire team by myself and do the most damage to my team?
And they have so much faith in him, too. Like he said there, it's the most fun he's had playing League of Legends because he just gets to play whatever he wants. He was a top lane carry. Now he gets to carry in a role that right now is more suited to do that. He's undefeated on Kassadin in the entire spring series.
And man, the AP Cog got banned away from all 4 games. I mean, this guy, he said, no one's playing Kassadin, I'll do it. No one's playing AP Cog, I'll do it. No one's playing Katarina, I'll do it. I like this guy a lot. I like this guy a lot. I'm a big fan of Inox. He's been playing amazingly. Congrats on your MVP, man. Congrats joining the LCS. Enemy Esports will be seeing you next split. Now, if you guys at home are missing your weekly dose of Primetime League today, never fear. PTL is on tomorrow with a special post-season preview at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 1 a.m. Central European Summertime. And the LCS playoffs continue this weekend, starting in Europe with Fnatic against H2K Gaming. Immediately following the conclusion of that best of 5 series, we will bring the action back to North America for Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. Our playoff coverage on Saturday starts at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central European Summertime. We'd like to congratulate one more time Enemy Esports for joining the North American LCS, and thank you very much to our guest analyst Crumbs. But now for myself, the casters, and the entire broadcast crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Toodaloo, guys.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2015 Spring North American Challenger Series Finals. Three-man chambers in comes Siobhan to the back line, and Seraph taking up whatever he can. First kill comes in as NACS dies.
Nice.
I'm going.
Need the reset?
Reset.
Reset.
Kill the Janna, kill the Janna.
Back, go back. Afterward, go back.
Enemy Esports have taken the first game in the road to the LCS. A three-man stun. That's going to be the turnaround, but is it really? As more kills keep coming through, NACS heals himself, but Seraph still claims the kill.
Nice.
Just as fast as game 1 went down, game 2 is going to go to TDK.
I've never had a glowing green keyboard before. Oh my god. I'm so excited.
Sandy, you can turn. Is it weird or no?
No.
Okay, good.
Don't talk to me like it's weird.
Timbers comes down, knockout from Trash, they push him around, but Luigi G, that a half-health summer heal, who cares? Gets the kill picked up, another one on Anar, and they are now 1 away from joining the North American LCS. No! He gets stunned, it's fine, he's gonna live, watch. Stun, shoot a minion, he's fine. Oh! The squishy's all going down, it's only Seraph, but Seraph dies! That's gonna be the game! Enemy Esports, welcome to the North American League Championship Series.